Hey, fourth graders, welcome back. We just finished reading about Procrustes in a really interesting end to the whole water bed scene. We're on to chapter number 18, Annabeth Does Obedience School. We stood in the shadows of Valencia Boulevard looking up at the gold letters etched in black marble, DOA Recording Studios. Underneath, stenciled on the glass doors, no solicitors, no loitering, no living. It was almost midnight, but the lobby was brightly lit and full of people. Behind the security desk sat a tough-looking guard with sunglasses and an earpiece. I turned to my friends. Okay, you remember the plan? The plan. Grover gulped. Yeah, I love the plan. Annabeth said, what happens if the plan doesn't work? Don't think negative. Right, she said. We're entering the land of the dead, and I shouldn't think negative. I took the pearls out of my pocket, the three milky spheres the Nereid had given me in Santa Monica. They didn't seem much like a backup in case something went wrong. Annabeth put her hand on my shoulder. I'm sorry, Percy, you're right. We'll make it. It'll be fine. She gave Grover a nudge. Oh, yeah, right, he chimed in. We got this far. We'll find the Master Bolt and save her, Mom. No problem. I looked at them both and felt really grateful. Only a few minutes before, I'd almost gotten them stretched to death on a deluxe waterbed. And now they were trying to be brave for my sake, trying to make me feel better. I slipped the pearls back into my pocket. Let's whoop some underworld butts. We walked inside the DOA lobby. Music, spelled capital M-U-Z-A-K, played softly on the hidden speakers. The carpet and walls were steel gray. Pencils, cactuses grew in the corners like skeleton hands. The furniture was black leather, and every seat was taken. There were people sitting on couches, people standing up, people staring out the windows or waiting for the elevator. Nobody moved or talked or did much of anything. Out of the corner of my eye, I could see them all just fine, but I'd focus on one of them in any particular person, and they started looking transparent. I could see right through their bodies. So the security guard's desk was raised on a podium, so I had to look up at him. He was tall and elegant with chocolate-colored skin and bleach blonde hair shaved military style. He wore tortoise-shell shades and a silk Italian suit that matched his hair. A black rose was pinned to his lapel under a silver name tag. I read the name tag and then looked at him in bewilderment. Your name is Chiron? He leaned across the desk. I couldn't see anything in his glasses except my own reflection. But his smile was sweet and cold, like a python's right before it eats you. What a precious lad, he had said in a strange accent, British maybe. But also, if he had learned English as a second language. Tell me, mate, do I look like a centaur? No, sir, he added smoothly. Sir, I said. He pinched the name tag and ran his fingers under the letters. Can you read this, mate? It says C-H-A-R-O-N. Say it with me. Care on. Charon. Amazing. Now, Mr. Charon. Mr. Charon, I said. Well done. He sat back. I hate being confused with that old horseman. And now, how may I help you, little dead ones? His question caught my stomach like a fastball. I looked at Annabeth for support. We want to go to the underworld, she said. Charon's mouth twitched. Well, that's refreshing. It is, she asked. Straightforward and honest. No screaming, no, there must be a mistake, Mr. Charon. He looked over at us. How'd you die, then? I nudged Grover. Oh, he said, drowned. In the bathtub. All three of you? Charon asked. He nodded. Big bathtub. Charon looked mildly impressed. I don't suppose you have coins for passage. Normally, with adults, you see, I could charge your American Express or add the ferry price to your last cable bill, but with children, alas, you never die prepared. Suppose you'll have to take a seat for a few centuries. Only a couple 100 years. Oh, but we have coins. I set down 3 golden drachmas on the counter, part of the stash I'd found in Krusty's office desk. Well now, Charon moistened his lips. Real drachmas? Real golden drachmas. I haven't seen these in... His fingers hovered greedily over the coins. We were so close. Then Charon looked at me. The cold stare behind his glasses seemed to bore a hole through my chest. Here now, he said. You couldn't read my name correctly. Are you dyslexic, lad? No, I said. I'm dead. Charon leaned forward and took a sniff. You're not dead. I should have known. You're a godling. We have to get to the underworld, I insisted. Charon made a growling sound deep in his throat. Immediately, all the people in the waiting room got up and started pacing, agitated and lighting cigarettes, running hands through their hair, or checking their wristwatches. Leave while you can, Charon told us. I'll just take these and forget that I saw you. He started to go for the coins, but I snatched them back. No service, no tip. I tried to sound braver than I felt. Charon growled again, a deep, blood-chilling sound. The spirits of the dead started pounding on the elevator doors. It's a shame, too, I sighed. We had more to offer. I held up the entire bag from Krusty's stash. I took out a fistful of drachmas and let the coins spill through my fingers. Charon's growl changed into something more of a lion's purr. You think I can be bought, godling? Just out of curiosity, how much you got there? A lot, I said. I bet Hades doesn't pay you well enough for all your hard work. Oh, you don't know the half of it. How would you like to babysit these spirits all day? Always, please don't let me be dead, or please let me across for free. I haven't had a pay raise in 3,000 years. Do you imagine suits like this come cheap? You deserve better pay, I agreed. A little appreciation. Respect. Good pay. With each word, I stacked another gold coin on the counter. Charon glanced down at his silk Italian jacket, as if imagining himself in something even better. I must say, lad, you're making some sense now. Just a little. I stacked another few coins. I can mention a pay raise while I'm talking to Hades. He sighed. The boat's almost full anyway. I might as well add you 3 and be off. He stood, scooped up our money, and said, Come along. We pushed through the crowd of waiting spirits and started grabbing at our clothes, or who were grabbing at our clothes like the wind, their voices whispering things I couldn't make out. Charon shoved them out of the way, grumbling, Freeloaders. He escorted us into the elevator, which was already crowded with souls of the dead, each one holding a green boarding pass. Charon grabbed 2 spirits, who were trying to get on with us, and pushed them back into the lobby. Right, now, no one get any ideas while I'm gone, he announced to the waiting room. And if anyone moves the dial off my easy listening station again, I'll make sure you're here for another 1,000 years. Understand? He shut the doors. He put a keycard into a slot elevator panel, and we started to descend. What happens to the spirits waiting in the lobby? Annabeth asked. Nothing, Charon said. For how long? Forever. Or until I'm feeling generous. Oh, she said, that's fair. Charon raised an eyebrow. Whoever said death was fair, young miss. Wait until it's your turn. You'll die soon enough where you're going. We'll get out alive, I said. Ha! I got a sudden dizzy feeling. We weren't going down anymore, but forward. The air turned misty, spirits around me started changing shape, their modern clothes flickered, turning into gray, hooded robes. The floor of the elevator began swaying. I blinked hard. When I opened my eyes, Charon's creamy Italian suit had been replaced by a long, black robe. His tortoiseshell glasses were gone. Where his eyes should have been were empty sockets like Ares' eyes, except Charon's were totally dark, full of night and death and despair. He saw me looking and said, Well? Nothing, I managed. I thought he was grinning, but that wasn't it. The flesh of his face was becoming transparent, letting me see straight through to his skull. The floor kept swaying. Grover said, I think I'm getting seasick. When I blinked again, the elevator wasn't an elevator anymore. We were standing in a wooden barge. Charon was pulling us across a dark, oily river swirling with bones, dead fish, and other stranger things. Plastic dolls, crushed carnations, soggy diplomas with gilt edges. The river Styx. Spelled S-T-Y-X, Annabeth murmured. It's so polluted, Charon said. For thousands of years, you humans have been throwing in everything as you come across. Hopes, dreams, wishes that never come true. Irresponsible waste management, if you ask me. Mist curled off the filthy water. Above us, almost lost in the gloom, was a ceiling of stalactites. Ahead of the far shore glimmered with greenish light the color of poison. Panic closed up my throat. What was I doing here? These people around me, they were dead. Annabeth grabbed hold of my hand. Under normal circumstances, this would have embarrassed me, but I understood how she felt. She wanted reassurance that somebody else was alive on this boat. I found myself muttering a prayer that, though I wasn't quite sure who I was praying to. Down here, only one God mattered, and he was the one I had to confront. The shoreline of the underworld came to view. Craggy rocks and black volcanic sand stretched inland for about 100 yards to the base of a high stone wall, which marched off in either direction as far as we could see. A sound came from somewhere nearby in the green gloom, echoing off the stones, the howl of a large animal. Old Three-Face is hungry, Charon said. His smile turned skeletal in the greenish light. Bad luck for you, godlings. The bottom of our boat slid onto the black sand. The dead began to disembark. A woman holding a little girl's hand, an old man and an old woman hobbling along arm in arm, a boy no older than I was, shuffling along in his gray robe. Charon said, I'd wish you luck, mate, but there isn't any down here. Mind you, don't forget to mention my pay raise. He counted our golden coins into his pouch, and then took up his pole. He warbled something that sounded like a Barry Manilow song as he ferried the empty barge back across the river. We followed the spirits up a well-worn path. I'm not sure what I was expecting, pearly gates or a big black portcullis or something, but the entrance to the underworld looked like a cross between airport security and the Jersey Turnpike. There were 3 separate entrances under one huge black archway that said, You are now entering Erebus. Each entrance had a pass-through metal detector with security cameras mounted on top. Beyond this were toll booths manned by black-robed ghouls like Charon. The howling of the hungry animal was really loud now, but I couldn't see where it was coming from. The 3-headed dog, Cerberus, who was supposed to guard Hades' door, was nowhere to be seen. The dead queued up the 3 lines, 2 marked attendant on duty, and 1 marked easy death. The easy death line was moving right along. The other 2 were crawling. What do you figure? I asked Annabeth. The fast line must go straight to the Asphodel Field, she said. No contest. They don't want to risk judgment from the courts because it might go against them. There's a court for dead people? Yeah, 3 judges. They switch around who sits on the bench. King Minos, Thomas Jefferson, Shakespeare. People like that. Sometimes they take a life and decide that person needs a special reward, like the fields of Elysium. Sometimes they decide on punishment. But most people, well, they just lived. Nothing special, good or bad. So they went to the Asphodel Fields. Continue here tomorrow. Good listening. We'll see you next time.